咁我哋今日就為大家舉行一個租客權益嘅講座。咁咧由我哋嘅APILO法律中心為大家講嘅。咁喺會議開始之前咧，我首先會將大家靜音嘅。咁 Chuck，can you mute everyone？ 咁大家咧就唔會阻礙到演講嘅進程。咁大家喺演講講座結束之後咧，我哋會有時間俾大家問問題嘅。咁首先咁我哋先做一個自我介紹先啦。咁就係 OK。好啦，咁大家好，咁我就係斌仔，咁我係APEN 嘅職員啦。咁我已經喺 APEN 大概1年啦，差唔多1年啦。咁然後我嚟咗美國大概有13、14年噶啦。咁好榮幸可以喺度俾大家一個租客權益講座。同埋如果以後大家有咩問題關於租客權益嘅，都可以揾我，咁我都可以幫到你嘅。And Chuck。
Hello， 大家好，我叫李卓寧。我加入咗 APEN 大概8個月咯。嚟咗美國20年啦。我本身喺西雅圖長大嘅，咁大概2年前就搬咗過嚟 Oakland 呢度住。
And Lynn, can your staff introduce yourself, name, and where you come from, and what you do in APILO, and how long you have been in Bay Area?
Okay. I think it'll just be me doing the introduction, maybe Ruby too, because she's going to do translation. So my name is Lynn, and do you want Ruby to translate my introduction?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So my name is Lynn Fan. I am a housing attorney at API Legal Outreach, and I have been at this organization for 1.5 years, and I've been in the Bay Area all my life. I grew up here.
OK， 頭先同你哋講嘢嘅係我哋辦公室亞太法律外展處嘅房屋律師，佢個名叫 Lynn Fan， 佢喺我哋公司做房屋律師已經做咗1年半嘅時間，跟住佢喺灣區呢度大嘅。咁yes， Do I have to do introduction too?
Yes.
OK， 大家好 ，Hello。咁我叫 Ruby， 咁我今日係會幫你哋翻譯。咁我同頭先個房屋律師 Lynn 都一樣喺亞太法律外展處度做嘅。
好啦，咁喺會議開始之前咧，咁我哋都希望有啲規則嘅。咁就係我哋希望大家盡量保持安靜啦。咁喺聽完講座之後，我哋都會有一個問問題嘅環節，等大家可以問問題嘅。咁至於問題方面咧，我哋希望大家盡量問一啲比較即係唔好有針對性嘅問題，因為如果係可能會涉及一啲隱私嘅元素。咁如果你想更加詳細咁了解我呢個情況下呢個問題點樣解決咧，咁我哋喺會議之後會同你再討論。或者可以轉介你哋去 APILO 嘅法律中心，咁佢哋嘅律師都可以幫到你嘅。咁我哋今日嘅租客權益講座咧，係會錄低落嚟，然後放上去網上，等其他人都可以睇到，可以了解到呢一方面嘅知識。咁係啦，如果大家有咩問題，可以留等一陣嘅問題嘅環節可以問。咁我哋接落嚟嘅時間咧，就交俾 APILO 佢哋開始今日嘅講座。Yeah, then you could share your screen right now and start your presentation.
Sure. Okay, so this is a presentation for the housing project from APILO. Okay.
OK， 呢個係我哋亞太法律外展處嘅房屋嘅項目。
The agenda for today, we're going to cover 3 things. 1, what we do in the housing for APILO. 2, what is harassment from a landlord. And 3, we're going to talk about the eviction moratorium and how it affects Oakland tenants.
OK， 我哋今日大概會講3樣嘢。第一樣咧就係我哋辦公室會提供啲咩嘅房屋嘅服務啦。第二樣就係咩叫做房東嘅騷擾。跟住第三樣我哋會講關於最近嘅呢個驅逐暫停令同埋咁呢個命令點樣會影響到屋齡嘅租客。
Okay. Oh. Thanks, Hannah. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the housing services that APILO provides.
OK， 咁首先我哋會講下我哋辦公室提供啲咩嘅房屋服務。
The main thing that we do is eviction prevention, which means we help tenants stay in their homes.
OK， 首先最重要嘅我哋做嘅一樣嘢就係我哋去防止房東去逼遷租客嘅。咁呢個係我哋最主要做嘅嘢，去令到啲租客可以留返佢哋嘅屋企度住。
And that could mean going to court or filing a rent board petition with the city.
OK， 咁我哋可能可以幫到你去法庭啦，甚至可以去租務委員會嗰度幫你去即係提交申請。
And if we go to the city with a rent board petition, it's usually to fight illegal rent increases.
OK， 如果我哋係去到奧蘭市政府嘅租務委員會度幫你去爭取嘅話咧，通常都係為咗係房東嘅非法加租。
Habitability issues, which means things are not working in your house or broken and that need to be fixed.
關於適居性嘅問題，即係代表就係可能有啲嘢喺你屋企爛咗，而係需要維修同埋整理嘅。
Or issues that you, things that you might have received when you moved in that no longer work or that the landlord is no longer paying for, we can also help with.
OK， 或者係服務嘅減少，即係可能係你一開始搬入去嘅時候咧，啲嘢係仲用到嘅，但係之後已經唔可以再用，即係個服務就已經唔喺度啦。
One thing that we help for people who are homeowners is to help prevent foreclosure.
咁我哋仲有一樣嘢可以幫到個屋主嘅，就係關於法拍屋，都係另外一個詞語，即係可能係廣東話嘅銀主盤。
What we will not do is affirmative cases, which means we will not help you sue somebody or to countersue somebody, either your landlord or someone else who lives in the building.
OK， 我哋唔會做嘅咧，就係我哋唔會做平權嘅個案，即係代表我哋唔會幫你去告人，我哋唔可以幫你去告你嘅房東，甚至係如果你嘅房東告你嘅，我哋唔可以幫你告返佢。
So one of the topics that Sky asked us to cover is what is harassment from a landlord? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
OK， 咁第二樣嘢咧就係我哋會講究竟咩叫房東嘅騷擾。
The city of Oakland has a tenant protection ordinance, and it tells you what a landlord can and cannot do.
Oakland 嘅市政府有一個租戶嘅保護條例，咁入邊就可以講到明，就係究竟佢可以做啲乜嘢，有啲咩係佢唔可以做嘅。
The first one is that the landlord or the owner cannot cut off your water or your electricity or anything like that. They can't threaten that. They can't do that. That's illegal.
其中一樣嘢就係講個屋主係唔可以停咗你嘅水或者水電甚至煤氣等等，呢樣嘢係唔合法嘅。
Another thing is that they cannot choose to fix something that needs fixing. Like if your sink doesn't work or your toilet doesn't run, they have to fix it.
另外一樣嘢就係佢哋唔可以唔進行維修保養，即係假設如果你個星盤唔去水嘅，甚至係可能你嘅廁所係唔可以再用嘅，佢哋係必須要去作出維修嘅。
A landlord cannot just come over whenever they want. They need to give written notice at least 24 hours in advance.
同埋個屋主係唔可以隨便咁樣去你個單位入邊嘅。佢哋必須要係俾24小時嘅書寫嘅通知先可以進入你哋嘅單位。
The owner also cannot remove your items from the unit without getting your permission first. So they can't say, I'm going to throw all your things out on the street. That's not legal.
OK， 同埋房東係唔可以隨便去搬，甚至係抌咗你啲嘢嘅。就係你必須係你同意之下，佢先可以可能移除你嘅，譬如話家私啊，甚至你嘅個人物品等等。
A landlord cannot threaten you if they know that you are undocumented or your immigration status.
OK， 同埋個屋主係唔可以威脅你，因為如果可能知道你而家逗留喺美國嘅身份係可能係唔合法嘅，佢唔可以用呢樣嘢嚟對你作出要挾甚至威脅。
You have a right to live in your place, free from your landlord bothering you for any reason.
同埋你係有權利去住喺你而家自己嘅單位，係唔受到你嘅房東嘅騷擾嘅。
A landlord cannot threaten you, either yell at you or threaten to physically hurt you.
OK， 你嘅房東係唔可以係成日咁樣去恐嚇你、威脅你，甚至可能係對你身體作出任何嘅傷害嘅，都唔可以鬧你。
And a landlord cannot interfere with your right of privacy, like asking you who's coming over, who's at your house, what are you doing, where are you going? They can't ask any of that.
同埋你嘅房東係唔可以侵犯咗你嘅私隱，佢唔可以問你究竟有邊個而家會嚟你屋企，你而家要去邊度，即係任何關於你自己嘅私人嘅問題，佢係唔需要知道嘅。
So there's a long list of the things that a landlord cannot do. So if you want to see it, there's a listing on the bottom that you can look up.
OK， 仲有好多一個列表係講到明究竟房東係唔可以做啲咩嘅。如果大家想知道嘅話，可以見到個熒幕最低嗰個咧，就係你哋可以自己去上網可能去 search 下。
The next thing we're going to cover is the current eviction moratorium happening in Oakland.
OK， 第3樣嘢我哋而家會講嘅就係關於而家喺 Oakland 發生緊嘅驅逐暫停令。
So when the coronavirus hit in March, the city declared an emergency and said that evictions cannot happen right now in Oakland. 當呢個肺炎喺3月嘅時候發生嘅時候咧，跟住Oakland市政府咧就話 Oakland 市而家係處於一個緊急嘅狀態，跟住就頒布咗就係任何嘅驅逐都唔可以發生。 In general, there are 2 types of evictions.
通常嚟講有2種嘅驅逐。
The first one we'll say is the no fault, it's not your fault, you have to get kicked out, is either the owner wants to move in or they're not going to rent to anybody anymore.
OK， 第一樣咧就係無過錯嘅驅逐，即係代表可能你個屋主想收翻嚟自己住，甚至係佢哋唔想再租出去啦。
So usually for no all evictions, if you lose your housing, the landlord has to pay you to move you out.
咁通常如果無過錯驅逐呢個情況之下咧，房東必須要係俾錢俾你，跟住先可以叫你搬走嘅。
So the main reason some people might get evicted, the fault evictions, is if they don't pay rent.
跟住如果係另外一方面就係如果係有過錯嘅驅逐咧，就係可能係因為你冇交租或者冇準時交租。
If they are a nuisance, like they're destroying the property.
甚至可能係因為滋擾，即係可能係你喺度破壞緊住嘅地方。
If they're doing criminal activity on the property, like selling drugs or gambling.
甚至係喺你租住嘅地方進行啲刑事嘅行為，可能係非法賭博啊，甚至係販賣毒品啊。
Or if they're breaking the lease, like if the lease says you can't have more than 3 people here and you have 15 people there.
OK， 甚至可能係違約嘅情況之下，即係如果你個租約係寫淨係可能租俾3個人嘅啫，咁但係可能你嘅租嘅地方而家可能有15個人喺度，咁咧呢個就係違約。
Sorry. Okay, so under the eviction moratorium, you cannot be evicted if you live in a unit that's covered by just cause, and we'll go over just cause next.
OK， 跟住喺呢個驅逐暫停令嘅命令底下咧，就係話如果居住嘅單位係 just cause， 咁中文我諗係譯做正當理由啦。咁我哋陣間會講究竟咩係 just cause， 即係咩係正當理由嘅話咧，咁租客係唔可以被驅逐嘅。
So right now, the moratorium is supposed to last till the end of August, but next week there is a city council meeting to extend the moratorium to the end of September.
OK， 咁而家嚟講呢個驅逐暫停令咧係有效至到8月尾，即係8月31號2020年。但係喺下個禮拜咧，市政府佢哋有另外一個會議，就係會講就係可能將個驅逐暫停令去延長至到9月尾。
So the moratorium started in March. So if you have not paid rent from March till now, anytime in between there, because you either lost your job or you have less income or you had to spend more money on other things, you can't be evicted because of that.
OK， 因為呢個驅逐暫停令係由3月開始，直至到而家7月啦，甚至係會去到8月啦。咁如果喺3月至到8月期間，你係冇交租，甚至係其中一個月份冇交租，可能係因為你突然間失業，甚至係你冇咁多錢，任何嘅情況之底下，你都係唔會被驅逐嘅。
In terms of rent increases during the eviction moratorium, yes, it is allowed, but if you got your notice before July 1st, your rent can only be increased 3.5%. After July 1st, for this next year, your rent can only be increased 2.7%.
咁同埋喺呢個驅逐暫停令嘅底下咧，你嘅租金仍然都即係房東仍然都可以加租。咁但係如果你收到嗰個通知係7月1號之前咧，佢哋可以加你嘅租金最多可以上升3.5%，即係3.5%。咁但係如果係你嘅收到嘅通知係7月1號之後咧，你嘅租金只可以上升2.7%。
During the moratorium, they cannot charge you late fees at all.
咁喺呢個驅逐暫停令嘅底下咧，如果你係遲交租嘅話，佢哋係唔可以收取你嗰個遲咗嘅費用。
So once the moratorium is over, you are still protected from the rent that you owed during the moratorium. So they can still say you owe money, but you can't be evicted because you did not pay during these months.
OK， 咁就算個驅逐暫停令已經完結咗咧，但係你之後你仍然都會受到呢個驅逐暫停令嘅保護。即係之後嚟講，佢哋唔可以話因為你3月到8月冇交租，跟住就驅逐你，仍然都係唔可以嘅。
So in Oakland, there are only a few things that you can be evicted for, and we'll go over what you can be evicted for.
OK， 咁喺 Oakland 市咧，你如果要被驅逐咧，係需要有啲正當嘅理由。咁我哋而家就會同你講係有咩正當嘅理由可以驅逐你。
And we're going to go over this because a lot of times we see Chinese clients who say, my landlord says I have to get out, so I'm going to get out, or my landlord's kicking me out. The landlord cannot just kick you out. It has to fall under one of these reasons.
OK， 我哋點解會想同你講呢樣嘢咧？係因為我哋辦公室曾經會收到好多個可能中文 打電話嚟嘅電話係同我哋講就係話，我房東要趕我走，我房東要我搬走，我房東要我下個禮拜就要即刻搬去第二啲地方。咁其實係唔得嘅。如果你個房東想趕你走，必須要係有以下其中一個正當嘅理由，佢先可以要驅逐你咯。
So the reasons that you can be evicted is not paying rent.
佢哋如果可以其中一個原因就係因為你冇交租啦。
If you don't sign a new lease when the old one expires.
或者就係當你嗰個舊嘅租約已經完滿啦，咁但係你冇簽一個新嘅租約。
If you damage the property.
如果你破壞咗你住嘅地方。
If you cause nuisance, or we talked about this too, illegal activities.
即係好似我哋之前所講，就係如果你嚴重滋擾咗可能個物業啊，甚至係可能你用個物業嚟做非法嘅用途，例如係賭博啊、販賣毒品等等。
If you don't allow the landlord into the unit when they're supposed to be in the unit, either to fix something and they give you notice, like if you say, no, you can't come in here, that's also a reason you can get evicted.
OK， 甚至可能係當個房東已經俾咗正當嘅通知俾你，跟住佢要去進入你嘅住所，但係你唔俾個房東入嚟，即係無論係可能房東入嚟你嘅物業，可能係就係想去進行維修啊等等，但係你唔俾佢入嚟。
And then the next four are either the owner's moving in, or they're not renting anymore, or they're moving a relative in, or they're fixing it. Like they need you to move out to fix something in your unit. But these are things that they have to pay you to get you out.
OK， 跟住嚟緊我講呢四個咧，就係無論係可能房東去收翻間屋去自己住啊，甚至係佢唔想再租個物業出去啊，甚至係可能係佢想進行一個好大嘅維修啊，甚至可能係有親友想收嚟住等等。咁但係呢四個原因都係必須係佢哋要俾錢俾你，你先可以搬走咯。Len, you're on mute.
You're muted.
Yes, sorry. For these reasons, they also have to put it in writing. They can't just tell you, oh, I need you to move out because my daughter's moving in or my dad's moving in. They have to put it in writing, and we have to look at it to determine if it's right.
OK， 同埋我頭先講嗰四個理由咧，佢哋都係即係如果佢哋無論用任何其中嗰四個裏邊其中一個嚟驅逐你啦，假設佢哋必須要係有書寫嘅可能一個通知。話俾你聽，跟住咁我哋可以幫你去睇下嗰個通知究竟係正唔正確、合唔合法等等嘅。佢哋唔可以口頭上同你講就係話，我個女下個禮拜翻嚟，我要收翻呢間房住俾我個女住，跟住而叫你搬走，咁樣係唔合法、唔可以
嘅。So to determine if you are covered, if your building was built in, these are the ones that are not covered, okay? If your building is newer than 1996.
OK， 咁你點樣知道你究竟受唔受到呢個 just cause 即係呢個正當理由嘅保護咧？即係你有冇受到保障咧？就係如果你嘅物業，即係你住緊嘅地方係1996年之後起嘅話咧，咁你就唔受到保護啦。
You're not covered if you live in the same unit as your landlord. So like if your landlord has a house and you rent a room and you share the same kitchen and bathroom, then you're not covered either.
OK， 跟住同埋咧就係如果假設你同你嘅房東係住喺同一個地方，即係假設可能係一間屋咁樣啦，跟住你同你嘅房東係每人住一間房，但係你哋係一齊共用個廚房同廁所嘅話咧，咁你就唔會受到呢個正當理由嘅保護啦。
If you're not covered if you live in a facility like a nonprofit center or a treatment center, short-term housing, emergency housing, that's not covered either.
OK， 同埋咧就係如果你係住喺嗰啲健康嘅場所啊，甚至係非牟利，可能甚至係戒毒嘅中心啊，嗰啲短期嘅房屋，甚至係可能俾啲無家可歸者嘅短期嘅住房，呢啲嘅情況底下咧，你哋係唔會受到保護嘅。
So in terms of utilities during the COVID-19 time, if you're in danger of losing your PG&E, like your electricity and gas, they will not shut you off. You can contact them and they will help you keep your power on.
OK， 跟住關於水電嘅問題，咁我哋頭先講 PG&E 先啦，即係電費同埋煤氣。咁咧，首先就係佢哋唔會因為你冇交錢喺呢段呢個肺炎嘅期間，佢哋唔會因為你冇交錢而中斷咗你哋嘅電啊，甚至煤氣嘅。咁如果你有咁嘅情況之下，你可以直接打電話俾 PG&E， 咁佢哋係會供應翻個電同埋個煤氣俾你哋嘅。
Same thing with APEN, like you cannot have your water shut off during this time because they know it's a health and safety issue. So the water will also stay on, but you have to let them know.
OK， 咁同水費係一模一樣啦。咁就係因為佢哋係唔可以停止供應水俾你哋嘅，因為佢知道水係一樣好緊急關於健康嘅一樣嘢啦。咁所以就係如果你喺呢段嘅情況底下係冇咗水㗎咧，你必須要去聯絡佢哋，佢哋係會供應翻水俾你嘅。
And the same thing for trash. If you cannot pay your trash or it's late, like they will pick up your trash.
係啦，同埋關於垃圾嘅問題，即係如果你冇俾錢、冇俾垃圾費啊等等咧，佢喺呢段期間你冇俾錢，佢哋仍然都係需要去回收翻你啲垃圾嘅。
So the best thing that we can tell you is to wear a mask and wash your hands and maintain social distancing.
係啦，咁所以我哋去到最尾只可以俾你哋嘅忠告就係記得戴口罩、多啲洗手，同埋要保持6尺嘅社交距離。
And we are located in Chinatown on 8th Street. So you can call us anytime. We don't have clinic hours. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And we do have Mandarin and Cantonese speakers to help you, to help us help you.
OK， 咁咧就係同埋我哋辦公室係喺Oakland Chinatown 嘅，咁我哋嘅地址就係喺熒幕上面見到啦。咁我哋係冇任何嘅 clinic 嘅時間嘅，即係你任何時間需要我哋幫助咧，咁你就打我哋以下呢個電話，你喺個熒幕上面見到啦。咁我哋係星期一到星期五9點至5點鐘。
Okay. Thank you.
多謝。
Thank you for the presentation. 好多謝APILO 為我哋帶嚟呢一個租客嘅講座。咁我哋而家接落嚟就係有一個問題嘅環節。咁大家可以解除靜音。咁如果大家想問問題嘅話，就解除靜音，可以問問題。咁我有一個問題就係咩係 Illicit Act？Can Lynn explain more about Illicit Act?
About what?
The Illicit Act.
The Ellis Act? Yeah. So that's if a landlord decides that they're not going to rent anymore. They're going to take it off the market. So depending on how many bedrooms in your unit determines how many thousands of dollars the landlord has to pay you to get out.
Do I have to translate that? Sorry. Okay. 頭先有人問嘅問題就係究竟咩係 Alice Act， 就係中文我諗佢哋係譯做艾麗絲法案。咁呢個法案其實就係代表就係房東係唔想再將個物業去租出去。如果房東唔想再租呢個物業出去咧，咁喺艾麗絲法案裏邊咧，就係房東必須要係俾好多錢，叫個租客去搬走，跟住係啦。
Okay.
And if you have children or elderly, you get an extra $2,500.
OK， 同埋如果你係有小朋友甚至係老人嘅話咧，你係會額外獲得$2,500， 2,500蚊。
OK， 咁接落嚟嘅時間可以俾我哋啲會員睇下你哋有冇問題。可以問我哋嘅律師問一問你哋嘅比較一啲簡單嘅問題，咁佢哋都可以回答到你嘅。咁我想睇下有冇人想問。 Joanne？ Hello， 有冇邊個想問問題？
係，我想問，
係你講。
即係咧，我咧就本來2個人租一間屋住，但係有1個要搬走，咁樣房東有冇可以即係叫另外嗰個人搬走咧
I think, Ruby, can you translate the question back?
Okay, I think I got it, but I'm not so sure. Lynn, you might have more question. I think her question is, right now there's 2 people living in a house, but then 1 person is gonna move out. Can the landlord ask that person to move out? Was that her question? Sorry.
Yeah.
So there's 2 people, but the landlord wants, 1 is moving out and the landlord wants the other one to move out?
我意思你嘅問題係指有2個人住緊喺個房屋入邊，但係有1個要搬走，如果房東可唔可以叫埋另一個搬走？呢個係咪你嘅問題？
係。
即係1個人搬咗，但係仲有1個喺度住，但嗰個人喺度住，佢房東會唔會即係可唔可以叫嗰個人搬走
Okay, yeah, so there's 2 people living in the house. One is, like for example, A is moving out and B is still living there, but can the landlord ask B to move out as well?
Okay, oh, Joanne is asking, can I log out? And yes, Joanne, you can log out and log back in. So first, we want to say that this is not legal advice, that you should call our office to establish a relationship so that we can give you legal advice. Right now, this is just general, because I don't know the situation. So Ruby, can you say that first?
Okay, 首先我想話俾你聽就係我哋而家俾唔到一個法律嘅諮詢俾你，因為我哋而家只可以答啲好 general 嘅，即係好一般嘅問題。咁即係如果你係特別，即係關於你嘅情況，即係我哋必須可能要知道更加多嘅資訊嘅話咧，咁可能我哋會建議你打電話俾我哋辦公室。呢個首先係律師想同你講嘅。
But in terms of moving out, things like that, the landlord cannot ask you to move out for no reason. It has to have one of the just cause.
OK， 但係關於你頭先嘅問題就係房東可唔可以叫埋另一個人去搬走咧？咁就係房東係唔可以無理由咁樣叫另外一個人搬走嘅。好似我哋頭先嗰個 presentation 所講，就係必須要有其中一個正當嘅理由，咁個房東先可以叫你搬走嘅。
？OK，
仲有冇其他人有問題？咁大家可以解除大家嘅靜音問問題。
斌仔，
你講。
係即係好似我嘅情況，因為我之前咧係裝修個浴缸搬咗出去，咁我而家搬翻嚟，咁個合同係咪要重新簽過啊
Okay, her question was, I think she recently moved out because there's some repairs in her bathroom or the bathtub. And now that she moved back into the unit, and she was wondering that she needs to renew or like renew her lease because of that.
Did they ask her to?
Sorry, Lynn, what did you say?
Did they ask her to?
They, you mean the landlord?
Yeah.
你個房東有冇叫你簽過嗰份合同啊？
冇。
No.
Okay, if they're not asking you to do anything, then you don't have to do anything.
Okay, 如果你個房東冇叫你去做任何嘢嘅話，咁你就咩都唔使做。
因為呢度都係疫情嘅期間，佢哋 office 都冇開門。
Oh, it's because it's during the pandemic and then the office wasn't even open.
So she moved out to get something fixed and then she moved back in?
所以你喺呢個疫情期間，你係搬咗出去，因為你住嘅地方需要維修，跟住而家你搬翻入嚟。Yes.
Okay. If they're not saying anything, then I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, 如果你嘅房東冇去講任何嘢嘅話，咁你應該唔需要擔心。
What if they say something after the pandemic? Maybe they go back to the office. Then, yeah. 即係如果佢哋翻去辦公室咁點算？即係要同佢講。
Then she should call us at that time.
Okay.
如果個疫情之後，跟住你哋個辦公室開翻，而佢哋有即係對於呢樣有意見嘅話，咁我會建議聯絡我哋辦公室。
Anytime that you get a communication from your landlord, it doesn't matter if it's from the court or the landlord has a note for you. If the landlord talks to you about something that doesn't make you comfortable, you should seek our help, and we don't charge anything.
OK， 如果你嘅任何情況之下，如果你嘅房東係同你講嘢，甚至係你嘅房東講嘅嘢令到你覺得好唔舒服，甚至係你收到任何法庭嘅通知，就算唔係法庭嘅通知都好，即係你收到房東俾你嘅一封信，而你唔知道點算好嘅話，你係可以任何時間去聯絡我哋辦公室，我哋嘅服務係免費嘅。
And I know that a lot of landlords will just talk to your face or call you or text you. And that's not going to help you later on. If they want something from you, they have to put it in writing.
OK， 同埋我知道好多情況之下，房東同租客嘅溝通可能就係喺電話，甚至係口頭同你講一啲嘢，甚至可能係借短信咁樣啦。咁但係呢啲係唔會幫到你哋個咯，即係任何時間，如果佢想通知一啲嘢，佢必須要係書面上寫落一張紙度，即係一封信咁樣去交俾你哋。
OK。
有冇其他人有問題？可以靜音問問題㗎，解開靜音。Joanne？你可以問問題。
我唔知講咩。
你用英文講又得，中文講又得，冇所謂。
我 type 喺個 chat 度得唔得
？Okay. She want to type in the chat and then you answer the question.
Okay.
Okay. 國儀，咁你有冇咩問題？
係，我想問有一個問題呢。頭先佢講到嗰個租金，7月份後呢就係2.7%，咁3月份如果個房東加我租係3.5%，咁到而家係過咗7月份之後，佢可唔可以減翻到2.7%呢
？Okay, so she has a question regarding the rent. As you said in the presentation that if it's before July 1st, then the increase is 3.5%. And if it's after, it's 2.7%, correct?
Yes, and it does have to be in writing, Joanne.
Oh, no, that's not her question.
She wrote it.
Oh, not that one.
Oh, that's a different one?
It's a different one.
Okay.
Okay, so her question is, let's say if the landlord increase her rent before July 1st, which is going to be 3.5%, right? But now it's July. Can she get a reduction on her rent since right after July is 2.7%?
So it depends on when the notice was given to raise the rent. Okay, so they also have to give you advance notice that they're raising the rent, and it has to be in writing. So if they said on June 1st, on July 1st, we're going to raise the rent this much, it's 3.5%. Like they gave you notice, they already knew it was going to happen. If they give you notice on July 1st and says on August 1st, I'm going to raise your rent, they can only raise it 2.7. But once they raise it, if you want to talk to the landlord about negotiating it down, you can, but they usually say no.
Okay. 咁答翻你嘅問題就睇下你係幾時你個房東係幾時同你講加租，咁就係你需要知道就係房東係必須要預先俾通知俾你，話俾你聽加租，同埋係必須要有一封係信，即係一封通知信，即係書面嘅去通知你加租，而唔係口頭上講。 咁即係假設就係如果房東係6月1號通知你話佢7月1號加租嘅話咧，咁仍然都係會3.5%。但係如果房東係7月1號同你講加租，即係但係7月1號通知你話佢8月1號加租嘅話咧，咁就係2.7%。咁至於可唔可以由3.5減翻到去2.7咧？咁就你必須要去同你房東去溝通。咁但係好多情況之下，你個房東都應該係會話唔得。
So here's something that may help you is that when a landlord gives a rent increase notice in Oakland, they have to attach a rent adjustment program paper that says, if you have any questions, you can contact us at the rent adjustment program. If they don't attach that paper to your rent increase, you can fight your rent increase. And if you fight your rent increase, they have to start the notice over, which means now is after July, you could get your
2.5%。OK， 咁但係其中有一個可以算係 tips 嘅，可以話俾大家聽咧，就係喺 Oakland 嚟講，如果你嘅房東想加你租咧，咁好似我頭先所講，就係佢必須要有一份通知書話俾你聽。咁但係喺嗰份加租嗰個通知書後邊咧，佢必須要有一頁要加多張紙係講關於 Oakland 市政府嘅 rent adjustment program。I really don't know what is it in Chinese 我唔知個中文係乜嘢。咁但係關於可能係租金調整嘅一個項目啦，即係我估中文係差唔多。咁就係必須要有一張紙係關於租金調整嘅。咁如果你個房東淨係俾咗張通知信係話通知你加租，但係冇加多第二張紙係關於租金調整嘅話咧，咁你係可以去 fight 呢個你房東嘅加租嘅呢個問題。咁如果當你去即係抗議咗你房東加租嘅話咧，咁你個房東因為佢漏咗張紙嘛，咁你個房東就要重新嚟過。咁因為而家已經係過咗7月啦嘛，咁所以如果係而家嘅話，咁就會變成2.7% 啦。
但係咧，佢係3月份嘅時候開始加我租。3月份開始加我租，但係而家係7月份後，咁佢之前啱啱加咗租就疫情，所以咧就變咗，即係而家佢啱頭先呢個阿律師講話7月份後咧就係2.7%。咁但係我之前佢加咗我租，但係而家我仍然喺度居住喎，佢可唔可以減翻佢呢？
好似我哋頭先所講。Lynn is just the same questions. She asked because her rent just increased back in March. I mean, a couple of months earlier, at the 3.5%. So, but right now it's July already. So, can the landlord reduce her rent back to 2.7%?
That's something that they would have to talk to the landlord about, but the landlord does not have to do it because the city of Oakland changes it every year. July 1st. So we never know what the number is going to be. And I think they went down because of the pandemic. But the landlord does not have to lower it to 2.7. But if they raise it again next year in March, it can only be 2.7 because it falls within the July 1st to the June 30th year.
Okay, 咁關於你嘅問題，可能你就需要同你房東講翻，但係你嘅房東係唔需要去減翻你嘅租金嘅，因為Oakland 市政府嗰個租金佢嗰個上升嗰個調整係每年7月去發生嘅，咁所以佢哋即係可能3月嘅時候，佢永遠都唔會知道7月嘅時候究竟係會變成幾多個 %。咁但係如果假設你嘅房東喺你下年3月去加你租嘅話咧，咁佢只可以加2.7%，因為佢係會由今年嘅7月1號係直至到下年嘅6月30號都係會係2.7% 咯。
Okay. And something that we can talk about is if, say, you live somewhere 5 years and you get an increase every year, but it was never in writing and they never gave you the notice, you can fight all the previous years and say it shouldn't have even, these were illegal raises, and we can go to the rent board for you.
OK， 同埋就係如果假設就係你簽咗個5年嘅租約，跟住個租約就係話每年都會加租咁樣啦，但係佢每年都冇一個正式嘅通知話俾你聽，佢會由幾多錢加到幾多錢。我哋係可以幫你喺租務委員會嗰度去幫你去爭取翻，就係咁多年一直以嚟嘅加租都係唔合法嘅，跟住即係我哋可以幫你去爭取呢樣嘢咯。
OK， 收到。另一個問題呢，就係佢話嗱，打個比方，佢之前呢，我住咗7年，其中有1年呢，佢加個租呢係加得好多，咁但係呢，佢亦有1年呢就加咗我好少，即係10零蚊咁咯。咁但係有1年呢就加咗我成差唔多60蚊一個月。加咗40幾50蚊，差唔多都好多噶啦，已經超過我嗰個租金嘅起碼10% 噶啦，差唔多冇得8%。咁但係我話你之前加我咁多個租，咁我話跟住後邊呢，我就話你可唔可以唔好加我咁多租啊？咁佢話我之前係即係。少收咗你嘅，我話但係你又加多，我有1年加多我嗰啲，咁佢話我可以一次過要你補翻之前，佢話我加少咗你嘅租金，可以可以一次過加多你嘅，咁補翻之前嘅，佢係咁講。咁實際咁樣佢係合唔合法呢？如果佢真係之前佢加少咗我，佢而家可唔可以即係補翻係要加多我？可唔可以嘅呢？
Okay, I guess she has another question. So she currently live in her unit for 7 years already, and let's just say that 1 year, the landlord, since she give me like approximate number, so I'm just going to give an approximate number. So 1 year, the landlord increased like around, for example, $15 per month, which is, but next year, the landlord increased like, for example, $40 to $50 per month. But 40 to 50 is actually around 8 to 10% increase for her rent. But next year, the landlord increased like, for example, $15 per month, which is less. So when she talked to the landlord, she asked, can the landlord not to increase her rent by that much? The landlord said, oh, because last year I didn't increase up to the percentage. So this year I'm gonna make it up. Is it legal to do that?
It depends. This is getting more into her personal situation. So we should talk about this not here. And we can get into the details instead of the approximations later. But there's this thing called banking. It's kind of complicated, and landlords can increase rent more than the percentage, but they have to apply for it. Not apply for it, they have to tell the city, and they have to say how much. So they can't just be like, okay, I'm going to raise your rent this much this year. Next year, I'm going to raise it much this. Like, there's paperwork that has to be done. So if the landlord's just telling her, that's not legal.
OK， 首先就係因為你嘅情況已經可能涉及到你個人嘅私隱問題，咁我哋會建議你去聯絡我哋辦公室，咁我哋先可以知道可能你正確嘅租金係幾多，跟住嗰一年係加幾多，下一年加幾多，咁我哋先可以俾到一個正確嘅建議俾你啦。咁但係咧就係關於你頭先嘅問題，好簡單嘅回答咧，就係房東係可以話佢上一年加少咗，跟住第2年再加多啲，係有咁嘅程序。咁但係佢唔可以就咁口頭上同你講啦，即係佢每一樣嘢佢都需要去屋崙市政府嗰度去提交啲資料，先可以去做到佢講俾你聽嗰個數字咯，而唔係口頭上佢覺得我今年想加你幾多，下年我就決定加你幾多咁樣，唔係咁樣嘅。即係如果你嘅房東只係口頭上咁同你講，而你實質上可能冇收到任何嘅紙張去證明佢同屋崙市政府有咁嘅溝通嘅話咧，咁其實係唔合法嘅。
收到，好啦。咁我哋就因為時間，我哋今日嘅時間唔係剩翻好多，咁我哋俾阿 Lin 去 answer the last question from Joanne, and then we will have a closing the meeting. Yeah, could you answer the question from Joanne in the chat?
If the landlord needs to increase the rent, they need to have a written notice. Correct.
OK， 係啦，咁佢如果個屋主要加你租咧，佢係需要書面通知嘅。咁係啦，我知道大家都仲有好多問題嘅，咁但係限於時間嘅關係，咁不過冇問題嘅，你哋可以將你嘅問題係喺會議之後向我反映，咁我會將呢啲問題收集好，然後發俾Lynn，等佢可以回答大家嘅問題。咁如果係涉及到一啲比較特殊嘅個人情況嘅話咧，我哋會將你轉介去APILO 呢個法律中心，咁佢哋可以詳細同你傾，然後可以幫到你嘅。咁我哋接落嚟咧就俾我哋嘅卓玲，咁佢可能會有少少社區嘅公告想同大家講下嘅。
係啦，頭先我哋有傾過呢個eviction moratorium。
係啦，呢個暫驅逐令。
驅逐令係啦，佢哋係要通過今個星期二嘅市會，先可以整長呢個時間嘅，因為而家咧係喺8月尾，8月31號完啦，係咪？咁我哋就知道呢個疫情唔會8月尾完啦，係咪？所以我哋就係要去市議會度跟佢哋講嗱，如果我哋仲喺度俾人哋逼遷咧，真係唔得啦，係咪？係咯，咁想睇下大家有冇興趣give testimony
就係意思就係話有冇興趣可以喺市議會上面作一個簡短嘅發言，去支持呢一個驅逐暫停令，可以令佢延長多啲，咁大家可以有更多時間，即係唔使擔心會被逼遷啊，有更多時間可以留喺屋企保持健康。咁係咯，如果大家有興趣想支持延長呢個驅逐暫停令嘅話，咁可以私底下聯絡我哋，咁我哋可以同你準備一下，然後我哋可以下個星期二，咁我哋都係以網上 is it online meeting？ 咁我哋都係以網上會議嘅形式嘅。咁如果你話我唔想俾人睇到個樣都冇問題，你一樣可以就咁講，咁我哋應該會有翻譯同你翻譯將你嘅意見講出去，咁去支持呢一個延長呢個暫停驅逐令嘅。咁
The meeting is on Tuesday。
係啦，嗰個會議係個市議會個會議咧係星期二舉行嘅。咁我哋1點半。咁係咯，如果大家想即係支持一下呢個延長呢個驅逐暫停令，咁我哋都希望你可以聯絡我哋，咁我哋會有職員會幫你練習一下。咁大家可以即係要多啲人支持，等我哋嘅市議員知道，我哋都需要呢個暫停令要再延長一啲，咁大家可以喺呢個疫情期間可以唔使再擔心咁多嘢。
我想問，係咪一定要到時出聲講嘢㗎？
因為我哋作為非牟利組織，我哋唔可以代表我哋社區嘅聲音，而要市民要去真正係由市民去講唔係淨係我哋講。咁如果市民都出嚟講，咁佢哋市議員就唔可以話我哋代表唔到市民。咁而家真正市民出嚟講嘢啦，咁即係代表你哋嘅心聲，你哋想佢哋點樣做？因為佢哋係代表你嘅，咁你哋要想佢哋延長，咁佢哋應該要聽你嘅意見，要去支持去延長呢一個驅逐嘅延長禁令咯。
咁我想知道個會議大概幾耐嘅時間？
呢一個不如我哋個會議之後聯絡你，你係邊個啊？
蘇州啊。
蘇州灣。OK， 黃素嬌。OK， 咁係啦，我哋之後我哋再聯絡你，同你再詳細講一講呢啲嘅詳情，等你了解清楚啦，好唔好？
得，冇問題。
係啦，因為而家喺個會議裏邊唔可以一下子講晒咁多嘢。
好，得，冇問題。
好啦，咁我哋今日個會議時間都差唔多啦。咁我哋好多謝今日APILO 嘅法律中心嚟到同我哋開一個咁有意義嘅租客權益講座。咁我哋接落嚟都可能仲會有機會同佢哋合作，繼續舉辦呢一啲租客權益嘅講座，令大家可以了解多啲究竟租客有咩權益啊？即係當面對同租客同房東有糾紛嘅時候，可以點樣做？咁我哋呢啲講座都會講更加多嘅。咁啊，到時候我哋都會睇下，如果你有興趣參加，我哋打電話俾你嘅時候咧，咁你哋都可以同我哋講，你有興趣，咁我哋到時都會再提醒你。目前我哋都仲係打算採取網上會議嘅形式，咁都係類似今次咁嘅會議。咁係咯，咁我哋可以希望下一次可以再見到咁多人嚟參加會議啦。咁thank you Lynn and thank you Ruby for translation today.
Thank you Sky for having us.
好啦，咁係啦，我哋會議差唔多係咁多噶啦。咁我就會結束個會議，咁大家都可以退出會議。咁好多謝大家今日嚟參加。咁希望大家有一個開心嘅一日，剩翻嘅時間。咁如果大家有咩問題嘅，可以聯絡我或者聯絡卓玲，可以將問題發俾我哋，我哋會將問題反介翻俾阿 Lynn， 等佢會回答你哋嘅問題嘅。好啦，咁今日嘅會議就到此為止啦。咁我哋希望下次會議都可以見到你哋啦。OK，拜拜。
Bye. Thank you, Ruby.